And as we are reeling in the regular season of College COD, we come to the end of the reg season on the horizon, the postseason, Andy, and I couldn't be more excited for what we have to close out our weeks. We got Farmingdale State taking on Brookdale Jersey Blues to open up the show, and it's going to be a fun one for Farmingdale State because they look like they are red hot, ready to go to stay undefeated.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case, man. We got proper Seymour on a Monday night. What year is it? We cast in Vanguard. It's going to be a good time to be able to see how this specific region and area just kind of pans out. Again, we are reaching the end of the road. Like Colin had already alluded to, this is the final week of the regular season. We got makeup matches going on next week, and then we're going to start the conversation about conference championships. And within this region alone, the Northeast Atlantic, you got both the Fisher schools and then Farmingdale up at the top, the number ranked 16 team. I'm super stoked to be able to see what the Rams look like today, man.
Yeah, and it would be just comparing these two teams when we look at the head-to-head, it's been very, very different stories, let alone for Farmingdale State kind of undefeated, per se. They've been looking very, very strong in their divisions. You go into the restructure, they continue to look strong, and I think that there's a reason why this team has been around for College COD for so long. I mean, there's a reason why they're number 16. It's because these guys put in the work, Andy, every single year. And I love seeing them come on broadcast. I love seeing CDL Pubstar on broadcast. I mean, it's like the first time I've seen him in forever.
Oh, yeah, dude. It actually feels like forever ago that we were casting CDL Popstar in his rookie season. The CCL is absolutely insane. But we get the head-to-head for these two teams to be able to see what they do look like stacked up against each other. And the numbers ain't too pretty. I will say that much. I mean, these numbers are not reflective of what I have in my caster notes, so I'll just go ahead and say these numbers are lying to my face. The only loss that Farmingdale does have are against both the Fisher teams. Nobody's surprised by that. This is my shocked voice, and although you can't tell it, I'm putting on my shocked face. On the other side, as far as the Jersey Blues are concerned, I mean, they got losses all over the place from like the Ottawa team, RIT Orange, both the Fisher teams as well. Although playing them close at a couple of those hard points, and bang! Go ahead and announce the numbers, and they swap right on your screen. 192-250 to Colossus Hardpoint on for the Fisher Falcons Navy is definitely nothing to scoff at, but I mean, you're negative in both for the Search and Destroy and the Overload with a couple shutouts as well for the New Jersey guys. I think that they're going to have their works cut out for them today, Colin.
No, I agree, and I think for Brookdale Jersey Blues, you going into the series, you're looking at maybe upsetting a top 25 team in the CCL, and I mean, you got spring break coming up. Let's see what you can kind of kick off this postseason with. You go into it with a little bit of confidence. Taking down Farmingdale State, that would be huge for a team like Brookdale Esports. So get a look at the kind of sum up of what this head-to-head looks like. Farmingdale State, they have the head-to-head in their palm of their hands. So we look towards the map set to kind of dive into what's going on in this best of 5. And I think this is where we're really going to get to the meat of potatoes for things, because we got that Scar Hardpoint, Raid Search and Destroy, Den Overload to open up this series. Colossus map 4, Exposure map number 5, Andy. So what do you think about this?
We got 3 good fundamental maps as far as the Scar, Raid, Den, guaranteed first 3, and then you got your bang out Colossus, Hardpoint, and then what feels like only a 1 bomb site map at times on the Exposure, Search, and Destroy. So I'm just really excited to be able to see the fundamentals for these teams. Again, for Brookdale, with being the underdog story, got to be looking for those quick wraps at about 20. For Farmingdale, you're just looking to absolutely run them over. Scar, notoriously, if you're looking at the likes of the CDL, very powerful to have 4 M15s on the map. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but one just feels like a submachine gun with less bullets. That's the M15, and it's the do-it-all gun here on Scar Hardpoint. We're going to be able to see all that, man. I think it should be very fun to be able to see how these two teams do stack up against each other. And obviously, shout out SitRep as well, and Mr. J Pros in the back end of things, putting that bad boy together. We got these vetoes so early and so quick and so efficient. Now I'm just wondering if they're going to get their sides right.
Wait, get the sides right?
Yeah, CCL, I'm telling you, man, some of these CCL kids, like, they know what sides they're supposed to be on, but they just never are on that right side. And that's why we always have the colors backed up. Like, ain't never prod, bro. It's just the CCL kids, but you just gotta be on the right side.
Look, I don't know if that's a shot at the teams or a shot at the observers at that point.
No, shot at the teams, 100%, Colin. I would never talk ill about our observers and production team. They're the best in the business.
Oh, they're going to sabotage us now going into this first match, but no, I think that, you go into the Scar, you make a fun point about the M15. and the Dravik, because on one side you have an AR that shoots faster than the submachine gun, and then you have a submachine gun that shoots straighter than the AR at times, it feels, which is like super backwards. It kind of reminds me of like the ERAD K-Bar Infinite Warfare kind of duo that we had going on all the way back then. But even still, that was a 3-gun meta, Andy. We had those opportunities to have guns like the K-Bar back there because it was a 3-gun meta. We don't get that. It's either the Dravik, the M15. We shut up, we enjoy it, we love it going into a Scar hardpoint. But I think for the most part, especially with ranked play coming up, a lot of people have their own opinions on these maps. For Scar hardpoint, for one of them, is a map mode combo that, in my opinion, has really fallen to the lesser enjoyable maps, in my opinion, to kind of play. And that really comes down to these P5, P3 side of the map, where you try to get that rotation over into a wide open, and if you don't control things like top green on that early rotation, those ones are just killers.
Yeah, they absolutely can be, man. We'll have to see if kind of Brain can beat the Brawn, or if just the sheer gunny that is Farmingdale will just completely run over the Jersey Blues, man. Yeah, it's Scar hardpoint, start things off. I mean, even if you do start off with the favorite side of the map, what does that even mean? Because we're just going to be battling for shot control continuously.
And right out the 8th, too. I mean, look at that from Tez. He takes down Stim, 2 players from Brookdale. Farmingdale taking a little bit of time off this opening hill, and Brayden's going to take a route all the way around. He's going to be read like a book. Farmingdale State doing a great job of just holding control of the middle of the map. Just look at those teal arrows, and Tez just warming up. That's actually Stim in the kill feed. We get the double 4s on the side of Farmingdale State, double 5s on the side of Brookdale Esports. So you get the P2 rotation. Farmingdale looking good.
Have fun with that one, Megan. Have fun with that one. 2 3, 2 4s, 2 5, 6. I bet you there's going to be another 5 by the end of this map, number 1. But hey, Stim's up to 8 in a row. Almost had a really good look for that Hellstorm missile. Was probably just at least an assist away. But judging off of how the gunnies just came in out white hot, probably don't need that. You already have Farmingdale in towards the time. You got a lot of good space being developed over by Red Stairs. That was Evoke. He does go down. So now you actually have a good opportunity to try to break this from the front.
Well, Gaxter kind of surrounded. Tries to hit the deck, but 2 go down for Farmingdale State, and Brookdale Jersey are into P2. Much needed time as they're down 30 seconds. Tez and Evoke over the top. A couple of Kobe's. Tez finds a second one. In a way, it takes no time to get back into though for Farmingdale.
No, none whatsoever. 3 spree now for Tez. Trying to get the Super Soaker for the back 20 seconds here. NVMe will just gun him from top green. Another rotation over towards plane is surely on, and kind of lacking. One of the 2 of the player 4s is already over here as far as Farmingdale is concerned. And you're already losing mid-cut control from Stim. He flies right over the top, able to kill that 1 player inside of top green. And that's immediate control in and around P3, turning Scrap into initial.
Scrap to initial, and that's kind of what it's been like for the past couple of hills. 76 and counting, and you see why Farmingdale State are a number 16 team. Just lighting up the kill feed over and over again, and even Tez with that jump shot. He's going to spot a remix to the mid P1 wrap. He gets some damage in. Plane control, mid control. What do you do here if you're Brookdale?
You hopefully win gunfights, and then you're able to break the hard point. But on Scar to like P3, you just gotta hope that you just absolutely eviscerate that person on the plane head glitch, which does come through eventually. 20 seconds still left to fight over here on P3, and I mean, Farmingdale, they really don't have to budge. Tez, very aware, player could be around the back. He ends up getting the read, but just overwhelmed with the numbers on the backside of Blues. So they're able to break through old on P3. The Jersey Blues, they need this time on P4, and they got the good spawns to do it.
And it is the first time we see Brookdale set up, and we want to see them hold them, but Farmingdale stay with the quick break. They're flipping this map on its head, and this is a great time to get a Farmingdale stay listening.
Yo, one guy time. Challenge together.
In the deep back. One shot.
I'm staying out. Make sure you guys kill that. I'm just.
Another one back left on there.
Bomb.
Yep, heard that. Shut on.
He got left, I guess.
Thank you.
Yo, one's in the back. I have their front. Front door dead.
Nice. Yo,
Back
P1.
right.
Dead, Porky
Another
now.
one, P1 dead.
Nice shit.
Yo, I'm spawning in mid. They're all spawning mid.
P2
Right.
mid,
Mid and right. I don't see him, P2.
Yo, P1. Yo, two right. Rig's right. One mid. Wow, one shot in P1, bro. Yeah, you right. I'll pick up the right. Hold on, P1. Yo, back
Brandon, one shot, too.
Dead.
Pulling front door.
I spawned in the back.
Front door guy.
No, both one shot. Back door right now. 2-2. Nice, one more clean up. One shot in all. You can rotate.
Yeah, I'm going to top green. Yo, you hold this.
I got it.
It's so calm. I don't even think you can even blame Farmingdale State with the way that they've been playing. The comms are just flowing for them, and Brookdale just haven't been able to get anything going on this map, Andy.
No, not one thing whatsoever. I will say this much as far as the Rams are concerned, though. Really solid listening. I mean, it is 134-52 now as the Jersey Blues are fighting for this P5 time. But even with that 100-point lead, like, the comms are still flowing. You can hear them talking about where the spawn outs are occurring. And that's what's going to develop them to potentially be a conference championship team. Let's not forget that the Fisher teams are in this division, so you're going to need every help that you can get. Solid P5 rotation out of Jersey Blues. It just comes down to the important gunfights, the returning gunfights. You got players mixing it up for two pieces from the front, and if they were able to clean up a handful of those mishaps, Colin, it'd be a very different set of hard points through this opening. But I mean, Farmingdale is just sheer brawn coming through in the opening set of hard points here on Scar Map 1, just overwhelming Brookdale.
Hey, you beg the question, does brains overwhelm brawn, or which way it goes? I think Farmingdale State are the best of both worlds right now with what we're seeing. Very smart gameplay. Practice like you play. Well, you play like you're outstanding right now, and I think I'm right there with you, just enjoying what we're getting out of this Farmingdale team. 21-11 from Stim, 16-11 from Tez, 14-9 from Caxter, and Evoke, 13-9. Everybody is just so positive on this squad. It really reflects in this scoreline for Brookdale. You're kind of falling behind when it comes down to the slaying, but even when you do get yourself in positions to rotate, you just can't hold it because of that.
Yep. And you got all these power positions just being held. Stim stuck inside of shops just because overwhelmed with wall banks coming through from one of the players of Brookdale. They're at least getting control over towards their side of train cars, but if one player falls, you need to try to pick things up, and NVMe just might be the player to try to do so, but he just can't be everywhere at once, Colin. He's the only one showing up in the kill feed right now for Brookdale.
Yeah, and even still, 13-20, he is getting shut down in multiple different facets. By Farmingdale, they got the setup over towards P2, and they got market control. That's Caxter going to be sitting inside. He's holding down the lines, keeping them whittled out in numbers. This Portofino all the way up top. Not able to get himself across there. A couple kills come through from Brookdale. Remix over the top. He finds his way in, and let's see if they can get something going here.
Gonna need to try to get some space going forward. Watch at least one player flying out from the backside of shops. That's gonna be Braden. He's got the flank behind everybody, and at least he's able to find one kill before going down. But with pushing so far past inside of shops, you inevitably will flip out the spawns. And well, Brookdale just a little bit too late to recognize that. Still the 100-point club difference going to be on the menu, at least thus far. Rotation over towards P3 wasn't exactly good for Brookdale in the first set. Let's see if they can clean things up this time.
And it's not like they're doing the wrong things. I'm seeing so many things for Brookdale where they're trying to make the right plays. They're just getting outgunned in those moments, losing some crucial 1v1s. You get the rotation of P3, and this is something where Farmingdale eventually broke it without giving up, though, 20 to 30 seconds of this time. This time around, already gonna be cracking the code here. You got two players in that plane wing, same through mid. He's gonna look to wrap this one at just the right time. Shoots Remix on the side, cleans up with a Volk. 3 go down, and Farmingdale State back in. 35 seconds still on this hill.
Stim cutting down mid-map, not ready for at least one more player to cut him over by trading cars. Nasty head glitch, but only walks away with decent damage. That opens up the front here for P3. Braden's going to try to hit all the way through concrete wall, but his teammates are dying, trying to get over towards the time. At least you do have Remix. Portofino is here in assistance, so holding on, and they're going to at least break past triple digits. So if they can somehow break this and push forward, get back over by concrete wall, losing your first isn't exactly helpful, then maybe they can try to get back over by P4. It's where they looked best in the first set, Colin. They're going to need it here.
Yeah, they desperately need something to go on. Tez in a corner. Look at all those blue arrows turn. Collapsing, killing, just purely slay power from Farmingdale State. 3 go down. Tez are on the back. He's going to be able to take out that last remaining player. Brookdale do get gifted some spawns in the back, so they have a chance at least to break this one. Evoke has no idea, so Envy Me on the inside. He's not going to be ready for the re-wrap in the back from Tez. Another wave of kills come through from Farmingdale State, and although Brookdale, the Jersey Blues, they are fighting purely for this hill time, it is all Farmingdale State all the time. 10 seconds away from taking this map number 1.
and still close it out here. They got the back spawn to try to do it. Braden, last one up to try to do anything. Portofino just has to throw his body in towards the time just to try to get any semblance of a contest, but it just feels all but futile. 2 more seconds required, and we will call game number 1. Farmingdale State Rams, the number 16 team in our top 25 power rankings. 3rd in Northeast Atlantic, strike first in this best of 5.
And it's a good one, too. Start to finish, Farmingdale State, they just did not let up on the gas. You saw fundamental rotation, sound, the communication when we went to listening with sound, slang on point. Tez here putting that on showcase, 35 and 20 to finish off that map number 1. And even just looking at that game flow, Andy, I think this is going to be a whole lot of Rams that we're looking at for Brookdale. I mean, there were moments where they were getting those setups. I mean, he called out their P4s. They had so many opportunities on that hill to kind of make some plays. They just really couldn't put it together when it came down to bunkering, putting those kills on the board, and locking down those positions. When you're looking at this, Andy, what stands out to you?
It is that P3 to P4 rotation. You can see the 20-second gap, and then you go into that P5 to P1 at the end of the first set, and it is very crucial just to point out the obvious is that the setup was there, sure, but then the immediate gunfights required to turn that initial 20 into a solid 40 of 60 points accrued at one of these power hills. This was never really there. It is going to be a slating discrepancy once we end up seeing the full stats, man. Like, it's just that easy to be able to fully read. To Farmingdale, again, we expect this from this team. Very tenured college that we've had here in the CCL for quite a few years. Not to say that Brookdale aren't, but I mean, these are household names that have been doing it and, again, have been at least keeping things rather competitive versus the Fisher teams. I say that they got, 0-3'd, 1-3'd by the Falcons white team. But regardless, you know what I'm trying to say. These guys are shooters, man.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be one thing to be at the top of your division. It's another thing to take down a team like Falcons. Like, no matter what way you spin it up, Fisher are going to be a tough nut to crack. And you go into this series, you do what you need to do, and you perform. You don't really leave anything up to question here. 35 and 20 from Stim, 31 and 20 from Tez. 3 players positive 20 non-traded kills too. Like, that is insane to see that they're just holding down everything and not losing their fights. It's incredible from them, alongside Caxter doing it well, getting a minute 26 in time. If both really, he's got no damage, he's got the lesser kills, the engagements, he's got the time in the hill. He didn't have to do anything, Andy.
Oh, feed up moment right there for Evoke, dude. I mean, 19, 16, 10 assists, so the damage was at least being found to be converted into kills, and 15 of those 19 eliminations were non-traded. So, I mean, these are all phenomenal stats when you're looking at the end of things. A big shout out for Envy Me and Remix as well. It's pretty good damage on their side of things, given the circumstance that they were just getting absolutely ran over. But you look at that assist column, that's what I mostly look at for when teams are losing. Like, they're trying to set up for easy kills in succession. Trades never really there. It just always ends up being like a lot of those different 2 pieces where you see like the 26 NTK, 22 NTK, 21 NTK. Like, those are some pretty ferocious numbers to be having in a 250 to 116 Scar Hardpoint win. So Farmingdale, again, stampeding the point home. Why they are highly regarded here to be a top 16 team.
You ever see those videos of like a guy standing in front of a ram and the ram just like completely knocks you on your butt? This is kind of what those videos feel like. I look, YouTube, man. I get it in my shorts, and it's just like, I don't know if it's the algorithm, but I get to see some funny things. But we look at the rest of the series, and for Farmingdale State, this is one of those motion series, I think, for them. And I hate to really spin it up for that, but you know, you are the better team going into this best of 5. You're looking towards your postseason. Like, how can we start to fix up our map pool going into the postseason to then look at teams like Fisher Falcons and try to take them to a conference championship, maybe take a conference championship away from them. And you go to something like a Raid Search and Destroy, Andy. This is where you played the Fisher Falcons. You lost to both teams on this map mode combo. So I like to see them continuing to try to get reps on this map.
Yep, I mean, you phrased it up so wonderfully. Raid Search and Destroy is going to have to be their limelight, or any Search and Destroy for that matter. If there's one thing that we always end up calling when it comes down to like your powerhouse teams, like your Fisher, or I don't even know if you could really throw St. Clair in there, because those guys are always godlike. But like, it's one of those things that Search and Destroy is going to be your leg up into the series to throw a team off kilter. And the same could be said on the opposite side for Brookdale. Let's not forget, they did go all the way to, I believe, a round 11 versus one of the Fisher teams, and that's nothing to scoff off, man. Yeah, no. 5-6 Raid Search and Destroy versus Falcons Navy, of all teams.
Yeah, so for Brookdale, I don't know what a Jersey Blue is, but can they take down Farmingdale State on a map too? Can they swing the momentum and still continue to show some woes on the side of Farmingdale?
Envy going for a little swim. Bump quickly playing here at B. It's a 3v4, now a 3v3. Players dropping like flies all off of the post-plant scenario.
He sees him. Oh, fish in the water. Envy gets his, but everybody else loses theirs. Brookdale, I mean, I like the call for the quick plants, Andy, at B. It's just can't hold your own like what we saw in the hard points.
I'm so glad that you asked what a Jersey Blue is, because the Brookdale Athletics was kind enough to at least inform how all this is going. They were formed in Piscataway in 1673. The Jersey Blues is the oldest uniformed military militia organization in point of continuous service on the Western continents. Thank you for asking, Colin.
And now I'm just picturing them trying to, like, walk up to a ram, give it a little pet on the head, and just bonks you.
I don't think in 1673 they were even well equipped to walk in the face of a ram. like what do they have? Like a little, not even like machete, like what's like the long sword that you do fencing with? One of those things.
I don't really, I'm not well versed in history. I don't know what things would have looked like at that time period. But I know what things look like now. For Stim, he is running it down mid. NVMe gonna get that trade off. A site is controlled. Looks like they're going for a plan. And Brookdale through mid might have a chance to stop this one. Good kill on the carrier. Now you look to stay alive. Braden even doubles down, putting Crackster in a 1 versus 3. He makes himself known. Will pull it into a 1 versus 2. 1 minute left.
Yeah, don't give individual 1v chows. And Crackster was able to get that elimination so swiftly that it was during regen. Or isolated, though. Braden's going to be the first one up. He's expecting it to come through from Zig. Got one more player that thought that he could go on the chase, but it is top ring control here for Remix. 37 seconds. Caxter's got to work this map quickly.
I like that Remix. He's not tweaking. He's holding it down on that site for Ring. As long as Braden can play his life and just continue to toy around with Caxter, you funnel the efforts towards Remix, and you look to answer back with a round of your own. Remix just hiding away. Braden holding onto Ard. Caxter's got to figure out a way in 17 seconds to win this round, and nobody is letting themselves go. Oh, that is so fundies. That is so good fundies.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, so isolated beyond belief, but they knew that they had the elimination on bomb. So it was just dropped right on the A bomb site. And that's just search and destroy in a nutshell. Regardless of the numbers, if you can't isolate these targets and get into these 1v1 swiftly enough, because they're all tucked, one back white van, one over by red, which is where the bomb was inevitably going to be planted for. It's just very easy days to be able to, okay, you watch your flank, don't tweak, don't overextend, don't chase, or give individual 1v1s, because that would have been Caxter's way to work their way back into it. So Brookdale, get on the board and see what alterations they have here for their offense.
Could have been different, too, if he found that kill on the Braden. Out the middle. Nice.
That's a choice.
Aggression from Brookdale. The Jersey Blues open up with 2 opening kills. Onto Stim and Evoke. They have control of B. Bomb getting planted. And it's a 4v2 post plant.
It's just a choice. We'll talk more about that later. So you got the last 2 players, Caxter, Tez. This is all coming from basketball court. And they're just going to straight sprint at them.
They're going to be lined up. Good damage coming out from Farmingdale. And Brady's going to fall. 2v3. So you're trying not to give up numbers advantage. CV your player lives. Remix. Portofino on those water steps. They're going to work in tandem. See if they can lock down some of these kills. 18 seconds. Caxter over the top. A flank coming through from Tez. 1 versus 1. 14 seconds. And Envy holding his own. Hiding away.
Oh!
Tez! Is there time?
No, he doesn't get there in time. He picks up a weapon. There's a setting for that.
Oh.
There's a setting for that.
It's a moment like that, though, for Farmingdale State that you just look at how confident they are in those challenges. You back them up. The perfect timed flank from Tez. And if there's like 0.2 seconds left and the right settings were turned on, that's a round for Farmingdale.
Yeah. No, obviously, I'm just joking. But like that was well played there in the 2v3 regardless. Like you recognize your 2 players inside of Tiki here. They're about to get overwhelmed. So back up, open stairs. It's planted for the kid top bedroom as well. So like you're able just to hold that angle relatively freely. 2 rounds off the bounce of the initial here for Brookdale. The offense for Farmingdale now needs the alteration of not just deadbeat sprinting through the middle of the map. They just don't care.
Oh.
They do not care.
And it's a dime again. That Stim Caxter this time going to overheat a little bit. Losing those battles through P5. Portofino's going to put you in numbers advantage, and you send it home for another Jersey Blue round, too. Well, that's 3 in a row now, Andy.
I don't even know if there were nades that were thrown to try to shroud this push to land inside a kitchen. I mean, like, these are day 1 BO2 nades, Cold War nades, like, whatever raid is in a game. It's Call of Duty mobile nade, for crying out loud. Like, you just got to be able to get those nades to land in front of kitchen to either shroud the push in toward P5, because this ain't Scar Hardpoint anymore, boys. You're not winning these gunfights that easy. Brookdale are challenging everything just about together. Envy's up to double positive, 6-3 now, as it's 3 on the bounce. Now, you feel like that they have the lay of the land. They're going to go for a 2-2 split this time, Colin, and they're going to keep Farmingdale guessing. Nades over the top of ring, just to pump fake to go over towards B, I'm sure.
And I like this, too, from Brookdale, because you got rounds to gamble with. I mean, there's no need to just continue to do the same thing over and over again. Try something new. You got Remix up to Laundry, and everybody else waiting to see what he can get done. Remix draws that first blood, and although Portofino will get traded, that is going to spread this defense thin.
Remix wants to get inside of Laundry.
Oh,
The timing from Caxer is just awful. 2v3, bomb collected by Braden, and they're taking this straight over
Stim.
towards ring. They have no idea that Stim's here.
Oh, he's got all the info.
Sniper?
Too bad it's a sniper. He probably could have got something out of this one. 2 versus 2 turned into 2v1, and now it's just Stim. He knows the bomb's over at A. Braden's going to spot him through pillars. He recovers an M15 off the ground. Stuns come out. Nade won't hit, but he does get the info in the cross. Snipe doesn't hit its mark. Could have been nice. Now you got to take a different look at this one with 33 seconds. Lots of time for Stim to unravel this, Andy.
I mean, you do, but now Braden, he just got the information. He saw Stim top red. He knows he's got a sniper, probably unaware of the N15 just until now. So he rips the first. No idea where the second's at. Remix is playing for the challenge. He's all the way to the backside of concrete, and Stim, he has no idea. Bomb's playing it for Laundry. Remix just needs a check at 9 seconds. And now Stim just has no more time. There's the bomb check. There's the gunfight and the win. Brookdale can do no wrong for 4 rounds straight. And it almost feels like a little bit of a miscomm, right? Like, there's these situations where you're in these 2v3s from a Farmingdale perspective, and you get the player towards back Laundry. He gets that pick plus a second to set up for what should be an easy pinch. The nade was being cooked, but I don't know, obviously, because we were not in that listen in that moment, like what the communication is even looking like to try to coordinate that pinch. It just feels like that Farmingdale are kind of playing with their food in the most disrespectful way, and Brookdale are absolutely letting them have it.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of those comms in map 1 that we heard them practice like they play. You know, you kind of, you're working through the motions. You're not trying to make mistakes. This time, you're right to say it does feel a little disrespectful, and they are getting punished for it, and Brookdale are happy to punish for that. That's twice in a row. Over at A in the post plant, that Remix has shown balls of steel to ice up in the clutch. Things you like to see for Brookdale. Farmingdale State going for the quick plant over to B.
Oh, sniper. Whoa, he just kneeled underneath that bull. That was sick. Stim, though. He knows that 2 players are over here. Smoke goes deep inside basketball. I think that actually made it all the way through the hoop, but watch out for Remix. He's getting active over by red. Doesn't complete the full-on flank. This is mostly coming all from the front, and you can just play the trade game if you're FSC.
Remix gonna be the first one on contact. Slides around the pillar, and Tez is gonna put numbers to the Rams. In the post plant, 15 seconds. Nobody's gonna give up their lives. And in fact, they're gonna chow right out and take the kills themselves. Farmingdale finally put a stem to the bleeding and put them second round on the board.
It's crazy what a little bit of fundamentals will do once you stop playing around. You can play Call of Duty all day, but have a little respect for your opponents here, boys. They took Fisher Navy to a round 11 on this map. Something you can't say you did. I'm just saying. But that quick plant works out wonderfully. I mean, I think the only thing that could have bottled it would have been that flank from Remix. If he hits it all the way through Zig, you're just mostly banking on the timing for the player, which is normally your sniper top bed, watching that flank, but they were all pushed up that it could have upset things. But as you say, FSC finally stopped the bleeding here.
Yep.
Now they got to stop this fast plant that's been going awry over by A.
Smokes out. Nice shot. That's a snipe from Envy Me through the wall. Stim's going to trade things out. Bomb's still going down, but the smoke shrouded. Allowed Portofino to get back into ring. Very deep post plant. You can look at that map and you can see Envy Me missing the timing on Stim around here. Will Portofino be ready for it? He is not. 2 kills for Farmingdale to take over control of the bomb site. And Envy Me, he has the sniper. But Evoke's going to find the angle behind him. Sim hops the defuse, and Farmingdale State Rams going to bring this back to a 1-round deficit.
Okay. You get the fast retake that comes through middle of the map. Lose the player inside of Laundry, but you get the player over by elbow, and then you just start enveloping all these numbers. It's this flank that comes all the way through from Evoke. You're mostly just kind of banking on for more than a handful of players to be back behind enemy lines, but those returning gunfights, very reminiscent of a handful of those breaks that we had on Scar Hardpoint. So FSC starting to lock in just a little bit here. 8-5 from Tez, 7-5 now from Stim. Got a trophy system for this push if he's supposed to have that equipped. I can only imagine that's probably going to end up going towards the top side of these stairs. No, he's actually wrapping back over towards bed. Does he still have the sniper out? He does. Gonna get a handful of information on this side of that, that's for sure. He doesn't swing the corner, so he doesn't see more than one. The bomb's quickly moving past Ring, and they don't know that they don't have min-map control.
No. They don't know Tez is going to be this close. Timing from Stim should be able to collect that first kill for Farmingdale. First blood goes their way, and a second one. Get the kill into Laundry, and it looks like Tez wants to go even deeper. As you do know, there's one more member. Caxter waiting for the nades to come through. Everybody's going to fly out. Laundry, you check the corners. NVMe not ready for it. Sidelined immediately. It's a 4v1. Portofino in the flank, but the timing is god-awful. Farmingdale. Seems like they've locked in a little bit, Andy. This is picturesque.
Yeah, I'd say. And for sure, I mean, you're rarely ever going to hear me say this, but you should always go deeper in that situation, Gallon, 100%. Like you got, wait, like, if you recognize you don't have any min-map control, you barely see anything on the backside of Laundry, you need to flip the map in that instance. I'm going to continuously show my age here, but that is day one raid, search, and destroy, everybody. And look at the streaks, too, for the side of Farmingdale. I would say they're certainly locked in now, Colin. You got double pause now from Tez, unanswered kills for Brookdale from a handful of rounds. We are even Stevens.
3 in a row for Farmingdale. Remix can open up this round. It is a full kill feed, and it's all down to 1 for Brookdale in a moment.
Oh my.
Blink of an eye round. That is the raid experience in Black Ops 7.
Sure is.
When
Remember those nades we were talking about?
Yeah, that's them right there.
Bang. I mean, that's also like one of those moments too, where just like, guys, we just lost 3 rounds in a row. We should just like team hit something together. And on offense for Brookdale, like their fast hits over by B have found success. They found success in the fast hits over towards A. This time they took a page to try to hit fast all the way through mid, but the nades land beautifully. Combined 8 spree between Evoke and Caxter there were the last remaining for Farmingdale on that previous round. Now on map point, just might close it out here.
Can Brookdale go to another round 11 on raid, search, and destroy. Fight through the middle of the map, and it's Stim to draw first blood. Looking for number 2. He's already got Portofino in his sight. Slides out. What a chow. Goes for 3. Remix finally puts him down in that reign of terror. It is 2 isolated Brookdale members in the 2v3.
Trying to check for Tiki. Nobody laying around the corner. Tez is going to start working over by Ring. He's not here alone. Evoke is also here with an M15. So he's tasked to watch the backside of Laundry over by Concrete. Caxter, he's watching the slide past Money window. He gets info at least on a 1. He knows that Envy's probably still lurking over by B. And Evoke's made the play. The backside of box, but he gets ripped. 2v2 bomb down.
For the retake, too. Tez doesn't even get that bomb down.
Uh-oh.
More time for the Jersey Blues to really set up over back Laundry. Caster's going to get spotted. Good damage down onto NVMe. 36 seconds. Stun checks. Not going to land. Tez on Ring, and Caxter fully backs up as they have no idea where Remix is. And Remix is taking a full world tour in this retake. I'm worried about the time on the retake. There's only 18 seconds left. MVB is going to be spotted into Laundry. That's a tough fight to take versus Tez. You need Remix to make a play within 12 seconds. And Caxter, 1v2. The defuse is going to be started. Is he going to check it? He gets off.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I mean, that's how you got to play it, though. You got the clock on your side. You were right to feel the hairs in your neck sticking up, Colin, because that flank should have probably happened yesterday. just way too long to try to retake the open stairs. And that also goes back to what I was talking about for that retake over by B once Farmingdale finally started to lock in as well. I think it was, that round number 6 right there, where they get that fast B plant. And you have the option for Remix to hit all the way through Zig. And I could see the arrow on the minimap. We're all watching the minimap word array, and you just had to hit it, man. You just got to hit it quickly. It's raid search and destroy. You can get from one side of the map to the other in about 12 to 15 seconds. You just got to try to work that pinch just a little bit faster just to upset any sort of numbers that you had. You got to see it once that flank ended up coming through. If it was maybe 3 seconds faster, even the 5 seconds required, that pinch would have been lovely. We would have been talking about a round 11, but a little bit of hesitation comes back to bite you in the rear end.
I think if he stuck out that defuse, I was in disbelief that he got off. It's
oh,
such
no,
a
he's
hard
going to check
call.
that for sure. It's his only play, man. Like, he's got to hop it. The pistol is going to be out, and even if he hops off it, there's not enough time. It's just, dude, timing is a real female dog sometimes, I'm telling you.
It really, truly is. 5 rounds in a row for Farmingdale State, and that's going to put them up 2-0 in this series. Let's look back at those stats. I mean, what can we say other than Tez and Stim are having quite the series right now for Farmingdale. 3 first bloods from Stim, and you know, early on too, because I'd like to talk about Stim for a second. He was making those misplays through mid, trying to go for those checkouts into P5, and without those nades, Farmingdale State really lacked some kind of emphasis into those positions, and they were getting caught. As soon as they fix that, they start going for those set nades, they start taking their time to develop those plays. That's when you started to see Stim really activate and took that space away from Brookdale, where they dominated in those first 3 rounds.
Yeah. I mean, life is like a box of chocolates on Raid Search and Destroy when you don't just ego slide chow mid every single round, I suppose. And yeah, I mean, it's awesome to be able to see that Farmingdale at least are able to pull themselves back and start to recognize, okay, we're being a little egregious here, gentlemen. Let's go ahead and just figure this one out. And, yeah, I mean, it's just lovely to see. Shout out Brookdale, though. I mean, like, it takes good players to recognize those mistakes, to be able to capitalize on them. It's what we always like to highlight, especially all the way up to the CDL sometimes, man. Like, I think that you're able to see those bright spots, but when push comes to shove, to be able to win, like, those clutch gunfights, it's been Farmingdale since the get-go on that Scar hardpoint.
You know, although Braden has a really good 2v1 alongside Remix over towards that A plant, not too much coming away from him. He was one of the standout players back in map 1 on that Scar hardpoint that I think I was looking at to continue to be one of the pillars of Brookdale, but Remix kind of took that mantle in game number 2. Braden fell behind, and that disconnect continues to be shown in terms of the slaying that the Jersey Blues are bringing to this series. And although you brought both Fisher teams to a round 11 on Raid Search and Destroy, you don't get to take Farmingdale there. They're going to put you away, go up 2-0 in this series, Andy, and setting up for this overload. Any thoughts that you have?
My only thoughts right now is that it was never going to be a Neslo. It's going to have to be a reverse sweep for Brookdale. It's obviously what we have written in the stars as far as the Jersey Blues are concerned. But, I mean, I just don't really see it happening because we're going to Den. You need slays on Den, and you also just need good fundamentals on Den as well. Those clutch gunfights need to be thought about and talked about as we take a very short break. But on the other side, potentially the conclusion of our first series on the CCL.
Well, the Farmingdale State Rams coming out swinging in our first 2 matches, or first 2 maps of our first match of the night. The number 16 team in our top 25 for College COD looking as sharp as ever. And it was a little bit worrisome looking at that Raid Search and Destroy for a while there. Brookdale had their heads on their shoulders, but, you know, we were calling Farmingdale State's playstyle little disrespectful. They locked in 5 rounds in a row, 2-0 up in the series. We're looking at a reverse sweep possibly as we look towards our maps and our modes. Andy, it's Brookdale. We got to really spin this on their side because you're going into this Den overload and you need to show us a complete makeover.
Yeah, you're going into this Den overload, and you're 2-2 on the entire season, 3-1 on the opposite side for FSC, and some of those Den overloads that they have lost have not been pretty. One of those, actually, the one loss of Den overload for FSC was against Fisher Navy, and it ended in scoreline, and that is just devastating to have on anybody's record. 1-8 was the overload finishing score there, and unless it's Toronto Ultra, it is never respect. I will say that much. Or Toronto Koi, sorry. I did it. It's going to happen. But yeah, I think Den Overload is going to be a really fun look, especially for Brookdale Jersey, because if there's a point in time where you can get good setups to be able to really dictate the pace of the map, it is Den. Mid cut, to be able to get that P1 push, to be able to get that first device, and then you can swing it towards that dojo or that locker side is very influential. Obviously, there's no real telling which side of the device will spawn up first, but hey, man, that's certainly the one fundamental aspect of this map. Otherwise, it goes over to rooftops. The map needs to get away from you. Where do my ring play teammates?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I had that exact same run-in. Literally, well, I want to say like 4 hours ago that I had to deal with. People got to learn that if you're, winning the dojo side, eventually you need to retake the rooftop side. It's just like, it is fundamental overload at this point, and it's March. I think we can all say that we're starting to learn overload a little bit better.
So I hope
figure
so.
this one out. It doesn't take too long, but it will take a little bit longer, it seems, to get into this series, Andy. No, and you're totally right, because you're going into this den overload, and for Brookdale, Jersey, I think that you can look at it from an aspect of, if you're starting on the better side, you can definitely get some dojo control. You bring one off, you immediately get a second one in that rally, and as long as you're looking at somebody like Brayden, who can step up from that S&D poor performance, I think that Brookdale still have some words to say here.
Yeah, absolutely. You just need your Slayers to come back in and just to be able to hit like those shots, right? Remix, I think, is another good shout as well with his M15. He was hitting some really good shots, setting up a lot of good clutch moments. Good damage being followed up on the Scar hardpoint. You just need to be able to get these eliminations. And ultimately, I would say what plagued them in the previous respawn for Brookdale is just not shutting down those two pieces that were coming through from like Evoke, Stim, you name it. Like, these guys were constantly finding two pieces. It just cannot happen, especially on Den, because to all of our points here, you're just going to lose map positioning very, very quickly. And it's very rare that you're ever going to be able to recognize in the moment, unless, like you were talking about, your name is McCornmeal and you're able just to read Overload like it was the game mode that came out on BO4 instead. And you just know where everybody is on the map at all times. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you do have that realization, but the game mode gets away from you so fast, especially if you're on the P2 side of things and you're spawning over by tower. You should immediately know, okay, there's gonna be at least one guy, if not two, inside of couches, if not deep into my spawn. So it's just being able to recognize those things. And I know these are collegiate athletes at the end of the day, and it's really hard to be able to grind the game at such a fast and heavy pace like that. But it's just being able to recognize that and being able to flip the pressure. I guess what I'm mostly saying, you got to be able to exemplify that if you're going to be a conference championship. So as much as I'm saying this for Brookdale, I'm also saying it for Farmingdale.
And for Farmingdale, I think most importantly, I mean, you look at those exposure overload that you lost and the den overload that you lost to both Falcons teams, and it wasn't close. So it's definitely something of focus for you to improve as you're going into the postseason very, very soon. So, even though Brookdale, you're up 2-0 over them, I don't want to see this team get ahead of themselves, because we saw how that went on the Raid Search and Destroy, and it was a real poor start to this game. You want to see a team really come in with respect and composure when you're looking to bat up into those conference finals against teams like the Fisher Falcons, no matter which one you're looking at. So as much as we look at Brookdale here, I'm still looking at Farmingdale State to show up and show out.
All right, well, let's see how things all start to pan out, as it will be FSC on the supposed good side. I'm still up on the fence about that one, but that's, I mean, Stim, he just gets through couches. He just sprinted through there, by the way.
Yeah. Like, no time at all. And it's already going over towards A. They say, screw the dojo rally. Let's just go on the opposite side and catch them off guard. First goal on for Farmingdale State. Vogue says, hey, why don't I just kind of stay around here for a little bit longer? But because of this, it will be numbers for a second at Brookdale to see if they can get a counter cap on the opposite side for Dojo. Caxter's going to be the only one here. Pistol from Portofino and a counter cap from Brookdale. They tie it up.
Yep. And now they have all this control to try to flip the map. I mean, if Portofino could somehow convert that gunfight, he could probably convert that into immediate red control and then flipping it over towards the rooftop sides. But subsequently losing all of those gunfights, Evoke should be able to run this all the way home. NVMe is the only player that's over there and can't get the kill in time to stop the capture. So just one of the more frustrating aspects when it comes down to overload. You got to get those two pieces, because you do have 100 HP you got to cut through on that device carry.
Got to make sure that you're reading these rotations. Flank from Stim. Gonna halt that drone carrier. Tess gonna clean up top window too, so Farmingdale State easily gonna work out at their spawn. Sim already looking to get some forward pressure over towards B. Down into the back of computers. 3 dead for Brookdale. And Stim's going havoc over here on the B zone. Looks like this should be an easy slide across. And a third capture for the Rams to go up by 2. Still 3 minutes left. They're looking to end this round early.
They do lose their lead blocker all the way into the backside of the tower stairs of Stim, so they got to try to turn things around, maybe try to pick things back up over by mid-cut, of which Tez is able to find both those kills. Caxter, soft stun, can't walk away with the gunfight win, and well, NVMe is going to be able to at least double down. He's up to 3 in a row. Fighting for mid-map now is Evoke. That's 2 more in the feed in favor of the Rams. The device is still being held by Envy. Problem is he knows that Sim's all the way in towards his map, so he has to double back there with the device just to alleviate that pressure, and it's a fantastic rotate to try to get over towards rooftops. He's got players spawning on him.
All you got to do is get rid of Stim, and you have a real good look at this one to even read this forward pressure from Stim. You do not. Envy me, not going to get through that window. Stim finds 2. He's going to grab that overload device and immediately draw it back to the dojo side where Tez is already pushing up tower. Tez not going to get past Envy me. But it's still the pistol kill to come through, and Caxter's going to be in a position where he can actually contest this one. Stim can't slide across. 2 kills. Brookdale put a stop to that attack. Now trying to work through mid.
Trying to at least get these gunfight wins over by lights. Envy just keeping his head on a swivel. Tough gunfight versus Evoke over towards that P3 cross, but now you get that rally back over by P1. Letting the device reset more often than not is the better of the 2 plays, but Evoke just slides just a little bit too far forward. There comes the nade. It's a little bit late, and Tez, he recognizes the opportunity. You're not challenging me. I got the device. I will reach the score limit for 1/2.
And it's a quick one, too. I mean, they had so much time to work with. Low engagements because of how dominant this one was from Farmingdale State. Rams, I mean, it came out swinging with that first cap, and you got to give it to Brookdale for kind of recognizing a couple of these rotations were properly met. It just doesn't seem like they truly have a read on some of these spawns. That spawn from Stim, not an easy one to kind of be prepared for, and could have been 2 for Brookdale. Sadly, only 1 as they swap into the throne side. This is where things can get ugly because we've seen teams really get put into spawn traps to the back of these throne spawns, and I think for Farmingdale State, they truly have a good grasp on this game, and they can potentially look to do that.
Yep. Sure can. Stim again, just finding routes and flank opportunities. Here he goes. Here's the first. Never mind. Didn't come through fast enough, but he's got damage in towards the second, and the player that was up top, Remix, has to drop down just to try to deal with it. Even the pistol shots won't get the full-on elimination, but his teammates of FSC found all the eliminations over by that mid-cross, and now they're set up for the dojo push.
They're just going to try to bully their way through. Shots to the wall. Envy me. 2 kills. Shuts that down. Stim in the corner will be red. Goes 1 for 1, and that should delay this push from Brookdale. Players from Farmingdale State getting into a position to contest for this attack, and you lose Caxter, so numbers for a second for the Jersey Blues trying to get through this setup, but Tez takes down 1. A second kill from Farmingdale State. Braden trying to dance around with MVB behind him. Can't get his pistol up. Can't connect with those shots. A double kill from Caxter, and they got the device.
Gonna try to rewrap this, potentially, over towards the middle of the map. Portofino, he's gonna find 2 impressive gunfight wins over by the mid-cut. And that should set up his team for an easy setup over by red. Yeah, the device carrier is just trying to get the heck out of dodge. Stim, nowhere to run. Now they're going to try to convert this into an immediate push over by the P3 cross. That's where Remix is located at. But the problem is they don't have any more pressure to keep Tez away from lights.
Oh. He's not missing. 3 kills, Tez. Immediately going to tee up a possible rotation into Dojo. Huge kills from Envy Me. 3 down for Farmingdale. Evoke dancing around this wall. Very bangable. Braden takes him down. And a moment again for Brookdale. The Jersey Blues gonna have to deal with all 4 members spawning up right on this B portal. Can't see Remix trying to win his fight through mid. A couple players go down. It's only gonna be Stim here to try to stop this one. Oh.
4-0-4, man. I don't even think he got the wall bouncer or off the mantle. He just kind of yeeted himself with the ledge right there. But that's one of those opportunities, man. And you just got to try to convert that icy moment into a clutch scenario. They're still getting a really solid defense here. Caxer's the lead blocker inside of red. Evoke off the pistol, slides and rips Remix's head clean off. There's the second and the score for number 5. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the board here for the 16th ranked Rams. And this just might be a 2-minute route around Den just to find as many kills as possible. The device attempted to get picked up and just ran back towards their spawn. That's never a good play indeed.
And Evoke trying to pull a fast one there. Won't be able to grab that device in time. Envy me. Shots all over the place. Alongside Stim, the rest of his team just hold their ground at B. Full rush down Dojo to see if they can get the 6th capture in. They will. And a couple extra kills maybe to boot with Evoke on the flank. He takes down Braden. He's going to set himself up in the throne room and pull a couple of those Brookdale members back.
Device spawns up over by the rooftops. And every single score just feels like another dunk of destiny. That's about to be Brookdale's 0-3 scoreline here in their last regular season match here on broadcast. Evoke doesn't finish his food. Finally finds a little bit more kills, but here comes just the happy ending and all of the victory lap on the backside of the Dragon. There's so much pressure inside of Dragon. Everybody spawns up by P3 for Brookdale. I don't think that the Rams would ever expect that, because I guarantee you that Caxer was no calming, just dunking in their spawn. The device picked up here for Portofino. Gonna try to work the score.
See if they can get number 2 on. And it left here, full setup from Farmingdale, and no way you're gonna get through that wall. Couple kills here from Remix. He's the sights over to P2. Jump shot from Tez. Evoke there for the trade. 50 seconds left on this game with down by 6. You don't imagine that Brookdale are going to bring this one back. Farmingdale State, though, you got to throw some love to their side in the way that they're playing this overload, because it is so... I'd say it's just so definite on every single play that they're doing. The confidence is blooming from this Rams.
I mean, it's the flow state incarnate, right? This is overload. You guys, if you've ever played rank play whatsoever, you've been in this situation. If you watch the CDL and you watch Toronto Koi get their second 8-0 this past weekend, you'll also recognize this as well. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, you're getting all of the kills, you have all of the map pressure. By the time the enemy team spawns up in Bufu, you're already on the opposite side of the map with the device, and there's just seemingly no answer whatsoever. I will tip the flowers of Farmingdale. They looked fantastic in this map number 3. Brookdale may have tried their best, but their best has only gotten them so far, as the Rams will cement a 3-0 win here towards the end of the regular season.
And a good win, too, when you look at it. Couple commiserations to Envy Me, especially plays like this, as he's making all game long on this Den overload. When we look at the stat line, 4 captures in round 1 from Farmingdale State, 3 captures in round 2. Brookdale play through all of the regulation of this game number 3. They only managed to get 2 captures of the overload device. And you look at the Jersey Blues, Andy, we knew this one was going to be a tough game for Brookdale going into this best of 5. There were moments where they showed us truly what they were capable of, but realistically, even though the fundamentals were there, mechanically this team has a long way to go.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, it mostly just comes down to the gunny discrepancy, right? We always end up talking about this in the college COD level. Shoot, we even talk about it in the challengers level. You can talk about it in the pro level if you want to, with C9 COD being the way that they are right now, man. Like, sometimes you just hit a certain wall where the enemy team is just gunning you, and then the strategy becomes, what if we just run at them? And Farmingdale were able to recognize that. At least it took them 3 rounds of getting slapped in the face, that it wasn't going to work there. But in the respawns, that's 100% it. Because, like, Brookdale Jersey Blues, they had opportunities. They had setups in that Scar hardpoint. They had opportunities here in the Den overload, just as much as they did in the raid search and destroy, to be able to set themselves up for wins. And it ultimately just comes down to those clutch gunfights. There's no other way to spin it, man. But look, I'm just happy to be able to see as much representation as we do here in the college COD level. Let's go ahead and take a look at these stats for the Farmingdale Rams and their victory lap that they just had stat padding towards the end. 28 and 22 out of Stim. Got 3,400 damage. I'll bump that up as well. 17 NTK. It's the assist column that also does it for me too, Colin, because to your credit, when you were talking about how good they looked on that map, that is teamwork in a nutshell on overload. You do not win as emphatically as they did right there without that.
No, and it might not be the craziest damage numbers that you're seeing from Farmingdale State, you know, not some crazy engagement numbers either, but you got to remember that that first round ended early. They got all 4 captures done. They didn't even play a full round of that Den Overload. So coming out with the way that they did, no, this is a very dominant series. A couple players from Brookdale that I will highlight there. I mean, MV Me, of course, he goes positive in this map. He looks great. A couple of goal line stops, 23 non-traded, 3,100 damage, as well as Remix and the Search and Destroy and into the Overload. Just a couple moments there that you kind of see them really trying to make plays. Portofino, he goes even in this map. Braden, Scar Hardpoint was great. Maps 2, Maps 3, not so much. I'm not sure if the series really got to him or what happened, but a couple players there for Brookdale that I really want to point out, and that's going to be MVMe and Remix across this series. And you're looking back at this series for the best of 5, and Farmingdale State are feeling good at the end of the regular season as they look towards the postseason, trying to fix up a couple of these mistakes. You go through that raid, search, and destroy. You get another win on this map mode combo, Andy. And overall, looking at it, I'd say I'm really impressed with the way that Farmingdale State are going into the playoffs, and I think that this is a real conference champion contender.
Yeah, they have a handful of weeks to constantly get better once we inevitably get towards the conference championships. I don't know if they have any makeup matches going on next week. It may not matter, but with conference championships coming around on March 23rd and the 24th, you bet your rammed butt that you better be getting in as many scrims as possible to get yourself ready for those conference championships. Because again, when it comes down to this side of the United States, you're in the Northeast Atlantic. That includes both Fisher squads.
And what a ride it's going to be when we do get to see that in a couple of weeks. If we get to see that, always playoff time is always a question mark. I mean, things happen, surprises happen, and upsets do tend to be the topic in College COD every single year. But Andy, this has been a fun time for this best of 5. We're getting set up for our next series coming up very, very soon. After the break is going to be Nichols College Bison versus the RIT Tigers. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you soon.